Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2024, and today I want to take a question from one of my subscribers. They asked me, Lewis, why don't people love me the way that I love them? They mentioned how in most of their relationships there was always this mismatch. They loved the other person more, they were always the one that was giving more, investing more. And I want to answer this question in many different ways. One, the reason why we oftentimes feel as though we're loving someone more than they're loving us is because, for one, we have just unrealistic expectations. We expect too much from people, and people just don't have that much to give. And sometimes it's they don't have that much to give us. They can give it to other people who they deem worthy. For some reason, they might think that this person needs it more. They don't identify with your needs. Oftentimes, when you are a strong person, and this is important, when you are a strong person, people don't see your needs. They don't identify with your needs. They have a saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's true. The one who looks the most in pain, looks the most destitute, they're the one that gets the assistance. But with you, the strong one, you don't look like pain. You have done a wonderful job masking your pain behind a veneer of success, behind a veneer of togetherness, behind a veneer of prosperity. People don't see your needs, therefore, they just ignore them. And that's unfortunate. We live in a world now where, as I mentioned before, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. When you are a strong person, sadly, you suffer in silence. People don't see your needs, therefore, they don't really connect with them. And so I'll go back to pretty much the unrealistic expectations piece. We expect certain people to have the capacity to hold us, and the truth is they don't always have the capacity. They don't have it. They are not able to hold us in a way that we need to be held, to care for us in a way that we need to be cared about. And so what ends up happening is that we burden these people with our expectations, knowing deep down inside that they're not able to handle it. They don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the bandwidth to basically hold us and care about our emotions in a way that makes us feel cared for. And so oftentimes what ends up happening is that you end up trying to be the care to others that you need yourself. You end up projecting that onto others. Or on the flip side, you end up mothering other people, hoping that when you mother them, they'll be appreciative, so appreciative that they'll mother you. So there's a bit of codependency there, where you feel as though you have to mother other people in order to get the care and concern and love and nurturance that you need. So I'm here to tell you now, you do not have to mother anyone to get that love that you need, that care, that concern. Mothering another person is not a prerequisite to love. You don't have to do that. Oftentimes when we grew up in, traumatic childhoods, those who have grown up in traumatic childhoods where they have had to take care of their caretakers, the ones charged with the responsibility of taking care of them, they'll adopt this mindset where they feel as though they have to be over responsible for their loved ones in order to get their basic needs met. They got to make sure that they are dressing their mothers, taking care of their fathers, in order to get that parental support and love. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to overperform. And that leads me to another point. A lot of times, people don't feel like they're getting the love that they're giving because they are overperforming. They don't allow other people the space to show them love because they're so used to being in this role where they have to overperform in order to get love. That's once again a manifestation of trauma, where you feel you have to do the most in order to get just the bare minimum. And the thing about it is this: I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do the most. You just have to assess a person's willingness and their capacity. Do they have the capacity to love you? Do they have that? You gotta make sure that they have the capacity to love you, because what ends up happening is that you're going to overperform and do the most, and you're gonna be left feeling unappreciated. You're gonna be left feeling so unappreciated and so angry and resentful, and then that's not good for anyone. That is not good for anyone. Another reason why people feel like they don't get the love that they give other people is that there are some people who find it difficult to accept love and to receive love. There are some people out there who find it very challenging to let themselves be loved. And that stems from feelings of low self-worth, unworthiness, self-doubt, insecurity. When you are insecure about love and a person's love for you, you run from it because you don't trust it. You don't trust that it will stay. You don't trust that it will last. You don't trust that it will be there for you when you need. And that stems from, once again, your first relationships with your parents and caretakers. How was that relationship? Was it trustworthy? Was it inconsistent? Was it sometimey? Could you rely on those people to show you love in times of need? Were you protected? Were you protected? Did you feel safe? These are all questions that you have to ask yourself in order to really get to the heart of why you're not letting other people love you in a way that makes you feel loved. Because oftentimes we will accuse other people of not loving us when we don't let love in. We are afraid of letting love in because once upon a time, in a land far away, our childhood, we have loved and we have gotten hurt. We've gotten disappointed. We have tried to open our hearts to love only for our hearts to be broken time and time again. So there might be someone out there trying to show you love as we speak, but your heart is not receptive to it. There's too many wounds, and I think, to be honest, those who have come from severe trauma, a lot of times their heart receptors are so damaged that they're unable to receive love, and it's sad. There are people out here that can ruin you for love. They can ruin you for future love. When you think about also PTSD in relationships and post-relational trauma, that you sustain in these toxic and narcissistic relationships, these people have the potential to ruin you for love, make you very cautious and gun shy and skeptical about everyone and everything, so once again, it's just a manifestation of that trauma. It's that trauma piece. There are a lot of traumatized individuals out here, and all I can say is this: you can't change anybody else. You can just change you, and you can do the work on yourself to make sure that you get the love that you deserve. I think also another reason why people don't feel as though they're getting the love that they deserve, or the love that they give, is because they don't love themselves enough. They may have a version of self love, a modicum of self love, but they don't love themselves enough to the point where they're not going to put up with any disrespect, to the point where they're not going to tolerate any boundary violations, to the point where they're not going to put up with someone loving them less, to the point where they actually, whenever someone tries to love them less and get a deal, what I call get a deal, give them crumbs while expecting the whole cake, they shut it down immediately. When you love yourself, you don't tolerate it you don't tolerate disrespect. You don't tolerate the bare minimum from anybody. What you say to yourself is, okay, I see that you don't have the capacity to hold me right now. I'm good with that. But I'm going over here. I'm going over here. You do your thing. You live your life. No hard feelings, but I'm going to go where the love is. I'm going to lean into love. Right now, me personally, I can share with you all, I'm in my lean into love era. What does that mean? That means that I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. I don't want to be forced to overstand anybody's dysfunction, anybody's hangups. I just want to lean into positive, healthy energy. I just want to lean into love, genuine love. I don't have time for anybody else's hangups, their excuses. That's your problem. I don't want to deal with that. I'm not making it mine. My thing is this, all I want to do is feel your love. And if I can't feel your love, I'm out. It's just that simple. I'm out because it's getting exhausting now. We are getting too grown and we are too far in our development as human beings for people to be so ignorant. We have access to so much information right now on how to love better and how to be better. So now it's coming to the point where it's willful. The ignorance is willful. And so if you don't want to take the steps necessary to improve and try to love people, well, my thing is this. That's your choice, but it's my right to exit. Stage left. I don't got time. I don't got time anymore to waste. When you start to really, really value your life, your time, your energy, your resources, you don't put up with the nonsense. And once again, that's part of that self-love piece. When you really, really, really love yourself and are comfortable with yourself and really sit with yourself and feel good about yourself, you're not going to tolerate none of this crap from anybody else. It's just that simple. You're not going to put up with it. You deserve more. So if you're out there and you feel as though I'm always loving people more than they're loving me, I'm always giving people more than they're giving me, you need to dial it back for a second and ask yourself some questions. Where does this come from? This over performing, this over understanding, this over giving. Where does that come from? Where does that stem from? Does it stem from some insecurity deep within myself where I feel as though I have to overgive and overperform in order to be loved? I'm here to tell you right now, you don't have to do that. When you start really loving on yourself, you want to lean into the energies of people who are loving you right back and loving you strong. You lean into those energies and it makes you feel safe giving. A litmus test with everyone that I'm dealing with. Here's my litmus test. My litmus test is, does this person make me want to give more? Does this person make me want to love harder? Or do they make me want to recluse back into selfishness? Does this person make me want to act defensive and just distance myself and only look out for myself. A good friendship, a good relationship is a relationship that inspires you to give, that inspires you to love freely. You know, that's a sign of a healthy, good relationship. They inspire you to do more because they're loving on you and filling your cup up so much to the point where it's overflowing, and you need to share that love, that beautiful, profuse love. But you have to be cautious when you're just getting to know somebody also. And that's another reason why, because I think we rush in. You know, they have a saying, fools rush in. We oftentimes, in our desperation to be loved and to be seen and heard and valued, we overshare, we overdo it, we overperform, as I mentioned before. We keep on trying to earn love as though it were some kind of prize or reward, when it's not. I'm here to tell you that it's not. Love is a gift, and it's a gift that's given freely when it is pure. When it's not pure, there's always an expectation. There's always this quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. One hand washes the other. That's not love. That's not love. Love, when it is pure, it's just given freely. And when you're with the right people, the right person, you can give freely without feeling foolish. You know? And so to all my people out there that feel as though you're giving so much to everybody and you're not getting the same thing that you're giving, you need to take a step back. Close that faucet. You know? Turn off that spigot. Turn it off for a second. Take a step back. Start to do some inner reflection. Start to do that inner work as to what is going on, what's behind that. What is the source of this need to always give other people, you know? And it's like, you definitely want to make sure that you are loving without expectations. But at the same time, the truth of the matter is, we also deserve, we deserve love. We deserve reciprocation, reciprocity, mutuality. And while you're not keeping score, drawing tally marks on a wall, you're not doing that. You also have to take a step back sometime in relationships, and you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, what is going on here? What's happening here? Because oftentimes you can do so much to the point where it's only taking away from you, if that makes any sense. You can do so much to the point where it's starting to rob you. And so you need to once again take a step back. Take that step back, breathe, and reflect. Reflect on what's behind that need to always overpour, Are you seeking approval? Are you a chronic people pleaser? Are you always seeking validation, external validation from every other source? You need to come back to the middle and start basically just investing validation into yourself. Investing into yourself, realizing that, wait a minute, can these people love me and show me love in kind? Because I think that, you can give so much to the point where you get resentful also. You get resentful because I think you carry an expectation. You are hoping to win other people over. You're hoping to, in a way, control. And that's why people pleasing is not such a nice thing, nice guys, nice. They're not really nice because the reality is they're trying to control the behaviors of other people. They're only being nice because they want to try to control an outcome. They feel as though, okay, I'm doing this for you now, you have to pay me back. No, no, no. Love doesn't keep accounts of the injury. Love doesn't hold any accounts. You know? We have to just once again assess our motives. Assess your motives for love. You know? What is your motive for giving someone love? Is it because you want something? You know? So once again, it's just a lot of internal work. It's just a lot of also assessment. Looking at how other people move, observation, looking how they show love. Asking yourself, what is my love language? You know? And for me, I have many different love languages. I think for me, acts of service and words of affirmation definitely are cool. But I would add to that some lesser known love languages, which is consideration, definitely sacrifice, reassurance. You know, those love languages go a long way with me personally. You know, consideration, especially when you're considering somebody else's needs. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. You know, reassurance. You know, you're reassuring somebody. You just don't take their emotions and be like, okay, well, you're feeling this way, I'm just going to ignore you. No, don't ignore my emotions. Reassure. You know? Sacrifice. Sacrifice is a very, very, very powerful love language. It really is. You know, when I think about what the Bible says, you know, God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. You know, he sacrificed his son. He allowed his son to be sacrificed. And that to me is the greatest demonstration of love, when someone's willing to sacrifice something in order to make things work. And it's the small sacrifices of time, energy, resources. Those show people that you are invested. You know, so my thing is this: know how you love, know what your love language is, and just observe. Who's showing me that love? Who's making me feel whole? Who's making me feel, and not even who's making me feel whole, because I think that personally it's your responsibility to make yourself feel whole, but who's enhancing that wholeness? Who, that sense of fulfillment? Who is enhancing that? You know? On those days when I'm not quite feeling like myself, who is out there trying to reassure and hold up a mirror and say, baby, this is you. You got to know who you are. Who is out there doing that? You know, because we all have moments where we're just unsure, when we don't feel like ourselves. But when you have the right partner, when you have the right friendship, they hold up a mirror and they remind you who you are. Who do you have in your life right now who reminds you who you are? You know, who do you have right now in your life that reminds you who you are daily? You know, that's the question that you have to ask. So my thing is this: it's great to love people. It's wonderful. But you got to really, really love yourself in practice, not in theory, not in words, but in actions. Because when you start to love on yourself, and this is the truth, and you really start to love yourself, and you really set those boundaries, and you refuse to take shorts, you will start to realize that you won't feel like I'm loving people more and they're not loving me enough. No, because you're so busy loving you so good. You're so busy loving on yourself so good, you don't care. You don't care who leaves. You stop caring so much about who leaves because you, for one, know that you got yourself, you got your creator, and you're going to be fine. You know that. You have to have an abundance mindset. But once again, it's about It's about factoring yourself in the equation. It's not about over listening to other people. It's not about over, over being overly invested in their story. It's okay to listen, but once again, those overages, you gotta stop with those overages because for one, it's draining. It's draining. It's taking away from the love that you should be giving yourself. So it's all well and good to love and to listen, but you have got to, once again, love balanced, love healthy. Check in with yourself. Ask yourself, am I doing too much? Ask yourself, are these people in my life? Are they speaking my love language? Do they even know who I am? So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for leaving that question. It got me to thinking about so many different things. So many different things. If you guys have a question that you want me to explore, please do not hesitate. Just drop it in the comments. I'll definitely make a video and we can just engage in a dialogue. So I hope this video was helpful and I wish you all a wonderful 2024. Peace, y'all.